In many indigenous groups, dogs are seen as important members of the community who provide protection from wildlife and spirits. However, when dogs roam freely and their population is not controlled, concerns for both dog and human safety arise. These concerns include dog aggression, animal welfare issues, and increased risk of infectious diseases such as rabies, distemper, and parasites.
They're more aggressive than they are out here around town. You hardly see any dogs running around in the streets, but on a reserve in the town side, you'll see 10, 12 in a pack running around.
And I started walking up the stairs, and this dog just jumped right on me, right on my... I was wearing boots and jeans, and it just ripped my skin.
When a child is bitten, or anyone for that matter, it becomes a public health concern. At the end of the day, we really want to ensure safety and that rabies transmission is not an issue.
A group of First Nations communities from Saskatchewan discovered this firsthand after a child was killed in a dog attack in 2011. Members of the community, Battle River Treaty 6 Health, Canine Action Project, and university researchers banded together to seek an effective way to control the dog population, one that did not involve the dog calling.
For the last 35 years, the Battle River Treaty 6 Health Center has provided community health services to promote, support, and encourage the physical, mental, social, and spiritual health of people living in 6 First Nations communities. Their vision is to contribute to an environment where all children are born into healthy, supportive families and communities that honor cultural values and promote independence, self-determination, and participation in community life.
Ellie Phipps, director of Canine Action Project, has observed dog populations in rural areas for several years.
Canine Action Project was formed in 2012 with the hopes of achieving healthy, balanced, safe communities for people and their dogs. Over the years, dog calls have been used as a means of controlling dog populations. We know that this does not work, as there is always a breeding pair to replenish the population. As well, you can add on to the negative effects it has on people and families when their dog that they have loved has been shot. It is also known that the people that do the shootings end up with post-traumatic stress syndrome. Canine Action Project wanted to come up with a sustainable plan, so we developed, along with Battle River Treaty 6 Health and university researchers, a 6-phase community action plan. This plan includes on-site spay and neuter clinics. Before the clinics, we went door to door to find out how many dogs were spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and dewormed, as well as how many dogs were in the community. After our door-to-door assessment, we found that 92% of the dogs were not spayed and neutered, and 6% had only ever been vaccinated or dewormed.
Remote communities often have limited access to veterinary services and face barriers such as costs and lack of transportation. In addition, some First Nations cultures do not agree with surgical spaying and neutering of animals. Crystal Lukamau, a water quality technician at the Battle River Treaty 6 Health Center, discusses her experiences explaining the need for spaying and neutering with unconvinced community members.
One of the comments that I heard from some community members when we first started the spay and neuter clinics was, if you spay or neuter, you're torturing them. And my comment to that was, it's a medical procedure and they're taking all of the precautions. I told them, with people not feeding their dogs and watering their dogs and having a relationship with their dog, don't you think that's a sign of torture? People need to, I don't know, their thoughts need to be challenged a little bit about something like this, just to maybe see the bigger picture.
Over the course of 2 years, Canine Action Project conducted 4 spay and neuter clinics in the Battle River Treaty 6 area.
At those spay and neuter clinics, we spayed and neutered approximately 460 dogs, as well as we vaccinated and dewormed. We also rehomed 220 dogs. It is imperative for us to work with pre-existing organizations such as Battle River Treaty 6 Health. It makes our jobs much easier just for the simple fact that the people that work for the health are out in the community at all times, building trust and relationships with the people. So when we go out with people from Battle River Treaty 6 Health, it helps us continue building on relationships and gain the people's trust. When you have built trust with people, they're more likely to let you help their animal and help them with their animal.
One of the major factors that contributed to gaining the trust of the community was allowing residents, especially students, inside the clinic to see what was happening behind the scenes. Here are some of the comments made by the people who went to see the inner workings of the spay and neuter clinic.
This spay and neuter clinic, I wasn't really for it when I first started this. When I was younger, I always had sleigh dogs. And I thought we were taking something from the dogs that we had no business taking it from them. It took me some time to study. Like the first time me and Karen went out to, that was after a spay and neuter clinic. And I was pretty scared because being a painting contractor for years, a lot of dogs attacked me. You go there to estimate and whatnot. And I heard there was pit bulls out there, boxers, Dobermans. I thought, oh no. I was pretty scared going out with Karen that time, but after they were spayed and neutered, I thought, oh, we'd go to houses and they'd be there. No dog here, she'd say, and they'd come big dogs out from the back of the house. They're wagging their tail, laying down, and I thought, that's really something. And then more than anything, after I started seeing the things, learning a bit more about like the diseases they carry and how they clean them up. And the first spay and neuter clinic I was at, I seen little puppies being injected. And I kept going close, and that bothered me. And then the smell, and then within an hour I didn't even notice the smell in there and stuff. And then after I've been to a couple spay and neuter clinics, I think. From that, I learned a lot about what's happening, and I think it's all good. You know, so a big change from the first time I went out, and to the way I think now is, I think it's helping the community clean up the dogs and that, and you know, you're less scared probably if a dog comes up to you, because, you know, instead of showing you their teeth, they're wagging their tail, and that's a big difference.
You know, the whole operation, when you just get into that school, it's so amazing that the whole operation of what they all did, everybody has a place of their own, and it's organized. Yeah, well organized, everything was just really good. I was so amazed.
The spay and neuter clinic, with it being open and letting communities come, it showed them it's done professionally, like from every step in the clinic. There's kind of like a registry, pre-op, there's a phase, and it's professional. It's done safely as it can be done.
Well, from the Canine Action Project spay and neuter clinics, what I noticed in the pictures were all the kids and how much, especially in Little Pine, Palmaker and in Little Pine, how much the kids wanted to help with the whole process. They were wiping floors and cleaning out kennels, and so intrigued and into the whole thing. And the vets allowed them to stand right at the surgical table to watch the procedures, and I just think that was so good, and you know, what a good experience for the kids and for the volunteers there and for the community.
In addition to engaging students and community members, Canine Action Project relies exclusively on volunteers to operate, which does not go unappreciated.
And the volunteerism that happens is a witness for everyone. People come from all over Western Canada to help out a community. They were not paid. They do it for the love of the animal and the community, which is pretty profound. Staff talk often about how humbling that is to see.
It just chokes you up, the compassion that people have for dogs, and the fact that they go all over. They even go, I can't remember what her name is, but we were talking and she was talking about how her and her husband go and help in California with dogs over there. It just blows my mind. I can't even put into words how much time these people put into helping not just First Nations communities, but all communities, and all for the same goal. That's what I mean. It's so humbling. You can't thank them enough. There's no words really. It's just unbelievable.
The opportunity to volunteer wasn't the only benefit to the communities. One community member, a local high school student, described how before the clinics, dogs used to run around together chasing vehicles. After the clinics, some dogs behave differently.
They're more happier, or closer to their owners and their territory. They're more open to people. They were just coming like the dogs that just finished getting neutered. I think it worked out pretty good.
I was a runner, an outdoor runner, and I ran, and there was a huge dog at every house, and they went wild. So I only ran one time since I've been there. And now I feel safer to run again outdoors because the dogs are less aggressive. I'm finding everywhere.
Another community member felt that overpopulation hadn't been a problem to begin with in her area of the reserve, where things are generally quieter. She saw overpopulation as a problem that occurred on other reserves where dogs are bred for money. She also felt that, contrary to the norm, her dog became more aggressive after being neutered.
The dog was more territorial when people would come to the place. Same with our neighbor's dog, who was more territorial, and he did snapshot at a couple people already.
In addition to eliminating dog packs, a major part of the clinics was vaccinating and deworming dogs, which has important health benefits for both animals and people.
You're like driving around a reserve, you see a dog and he's got something hanging on like a collar, and go, oh, you're thinking clean. Yeah. You know?
Canine Action Project provides new collars with rabies tags to all dogs that have been treated at the clinics. This allows community members to recognize dogs more easily and feel safer around them, while increasing an owner's sense of pride in their animals.
If they've seen a dog on the road and it has a collar, then they know it wasn't a stray, that dog belongs to somebody. To me, if I lived out on the community, that would make me feel a little bit more safer, because I know that dog's been accounted for. It's been fixed, and it's got its shots and been dewormed. I took a couple of the pictures from here, and you can see the collars in there. So me, myself, I know that dog was done and that it belongs to somebody. It's not just a dog roaming.
The changes we have seen in the communities definitely is more knowledge and awareness about people's own dogs. In the past, people had no outlet to go to phone anyone about their dog if they had a question. So now we get lots of phone calls from people in regards to their dogs, wondering about the health of their dog, or if their dog's been injured, or if it needs to be dewormed again. We've also seen that people are more likely to put out food and water for their dogs. People are building dog houses for their dogs. Just basic awareness around dog health, the community health, dog behaviors. People are starting to understand more about dog behaviors and what to look for in a dog if their behavior is wrong and not right. They ask for help in regards to how they can control those types of behaviors. More positive than negative effects so far is what we've seen.
The initial spay and neuter clinics have finished, and now it is up to the communities, with the support of Canine Action Project and Battle River Treaty 6 Health, to ensure that the positive outcomes of this project endure for future generations.
When you start a project like this, it is essential that you have good partners. We couldn't have accomplished this much without Kelly and the Canine Action Project and all of her resources for the expertise. But success also depends on the relationship and trust in the community. I know the health staff who have years of experience working within the communities were able to build on that trust and introduce something brand new and innovative. Obviously, funding is a huge part of this success too. Medicines and equipment are not free. So having a good plan and a relationship with FNIB was also important. Moving forward, ongoing communication with the community and its leadership is essential to build plans and bylaws to help sustain what we were able to accomplish. And again, this depends on relationships.
In the future, Canine Action Project would like to see more community involvement, possibly having someone hired within the community to look after the dogs, to help people with their dogs, possibly giving out vaccinations, deworming. Sustainability is basically just trying to keep the community engaged, continue with community outreach. Monitoring the dog populations in the community is also very important. Keeping the trust and relationships with the people in the community is going to help with sustainability as well. Education, educational outreach, continuing going to the schools, having community meetings to see how things are in the community. Those are all things that need to happen in order for sustainability to carry on in these communities for years to come.